Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Every time I see you, I get happy. You're so gorgeous.
Thank you. So are you?
So you know what? I'm really good. You asked me to make 3 videos talking about X-Men and their difference. And I'm so grateful because sometimes I forget how far I've come on my X-Men journey. And I can honestly say today that I'm actually proud of my difference and I'm happy with who I am. And I've come a long way from believing the insanity that I was aware of in the world and the judgment was me. Whereas now I know it's outside of me. Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. So everybody, we are going to have a talk about X-Men. Disabilities are
Abilities.
And so tonight you had said to me, talk to me about a topic that totally created an absolute change in the way that you live your daily life. And I looked at it and immediately what came to my mind, my awareness, was that X-Men perceive other people's bodies as if they're their bodies. And then let's say if you grow up around a father who didn't nurture his body or nourish his body or didn't have this relationship of kindness and they had a relationship of judgment through their body, you will pick up that relationship and the points of views that your father or mother has in regards to their body, and then you abide as yours. Okay. And so the example I'm going to give is about my own mother. We say Maher in Ireland. So I remember being 4 years of age. First of all, when I got this information, I was like, ugh, okay. So X-Men perceive their bodies through other people's bodies. Okay. And so with me, I remember being 4 years of age at nursery school. We call it in Ireland Montessori or kindergarten, I think, in Germany.
Yeah.
And I remember I didn't know that I perceived my mother's body as if it was mine, okay? Because it can be very distorting. And I looked down at my thighs, 4 years of age, and I'm like, oh my God, my thighs are really fat.
My God.
I know. Yeah. And my mother, who is no longer in a body, her as a little girl, she was called fat, and she was obsessed about being skinny. Just like obsessed. Or if I got anyway fat, she'd be like, "Hey, you look a bit fat," or she didn't like fat at all. And so for me, I began on this journey of picking up my mother's judgments. Now, she picked up her mother's judgments, and her mother picked up, her judgments from her mother. And so this is where I really had a relationship of judgment in regard to my body, but I was going through my mother's physiological reality. Yeah. I know. And now when I look back, Frida, the funny thing is I remember I was like 21 years of age or 22 and I was after having my first baby. And I really thought I was like ugly, because I hated my body. I'm just being honest. It's pointless me coming on and saying I always had a great relationship with my body when I didn't. I was going through someone else's point of view. And I remember like having this sense of like, I'm ugly, I'm fat, but I was picking up every other lady who was after having a baby and the projections that are projected at your body. And so for me, it took me a long time to recognize that I was picking up other people's judgments and then to start a relationship with my own body. I had to move my perception of bodies through the earth. Yeah. And so I just walked for an hour before we did our live. I just walked and then I cooked aubergines and Parmesan cheese and tomatoes and garlic and and now my relationship with my body is very different. And I just didn't have this information that I downloaded my mother's perception of what it is to have a body. My grandmother had food issues before my mom, and I now recognize that none of that was mine, but behaviorally, I was doing their behavior, And this is where we have amazing capacities to pick up thoughts, feelings, and emotions and what it is for someone to have a body. And then we lock those points of views as Xmen into our body.
Yeah. Oh, already acknowledging that is such a big thing.
Yeah.
So what made it easier for you, or what gave you ease with, first of all, acknowledging that, and secondly,
I'm pretty sure.
Reality. Also.
Yeah. First of all, I'm going to say that I was like, huh? First of all, I remember I was at a class with Dr. Dane Hare and Gary, and they came into class. I think it was the 9 trainees class in Dublin. It was. And they came into class and they were talking about this lady who walked by them in the morning, and she hated the way she walked with her body. She hated having a body, and there was a lot of like, and when someone's like that with their body. And Dane had said she still has her mother's viewpoints, what it means to have a body for her mother. She still has them locked into her body from utero. And initially, I was a bit like, this makes total sense from a neurological point of view. True, you're a doctor. From a neurological perspective, if these are the patterns running through the nervous system and your nervous system is feeding from your mother's nervous system, this makes total sense to me. And then on another, way of looking at it, I was, are we capable of that level of biomimetic mimicry that we can duplicate to that? Like, that's a massive capacity,
Yeah.
And so initially it took me a while for it to really, I'm going to say, for it to sink into my physiology, And so there was a lot of areas, particularly in relationship, where I would have the same points of views, the same behaviors that my mom had. And there's no right, there's no wrong in this. Does it work? What we're always looking at in Access is my mother did it from her mother did it from her mother. And so what we're looking to create is conscious relationship with your body. Why did you choose this body? What's it like for you to have a body? And so for me, I had glimpses of what was true for my body, but I really didn't have that developed. And
you see me smiling. Sorry, but like, even when you're talking about this, my body's like, there's even more possible. It's like, it's almost gonna make me cry because it's so really so beautiful to perceive that. To know that.
Yeah. I continue to be stunned at when we move our nervous system through the earth. So for Xmen, these are people with extreme humanoid capacities. Energy is their first language. They're a mutation of the species. And they're really here to create a planet that actually works for us to have bodies on. And so our bodies are more in line with the earth than what they are. Like, if you look at it, I'm just going to say this, we're more in line with the earth. Gratitude, space, nurturing. Today when I walked and the apple trees are blossoming, when I came in, I looked at my face was like blooming. It's like the red of the apples came on my face. When I looked in the mirror, when I came back, I was like, whoa, I look different. And so my face and my body can change very quickly based on the environment that my body is in. And so this is something that I got to be super aware of, because if I'm functioning from someone else's point of view of judgment, my body just looks so different. Whereas when I'm functioning from gratitude, or even people, like I'm around you tonight and I noticed like my physiology is different, you know, more relaxed, more space, more happy. And so for me, I've got to be aware of, I've got to tune into the energy of the earth. And now it's in science. There's a beautiful podcast between two guys. They're the happy pair and Dr. Matt Bosch. Is it Matt? But now they're actually talking about it, our biome. So we've all these bacteria in our bodies, and you've got to learn how to treat them and our fascia. And if you don't nurture them, then they're not fully equipped. So
Mhm.
to and so now this guy, is it Zach Bush? That's his name, Zach Bush. He's after discovering that when we touch a fern tree or when we touch, I live in Taunus, like in a forest, and when we touch these trees that are very biome, our immune system is boosted, you know? And wow.
Mhm. Yeah. You talked about this in the last X-Men class, and after that I was like even more aware of that because I also like I have a million plants on my flat and on my balcony, and I just love touching them. And it's like they talk to me sometimes, you know. And then I just go there and I touch their leaves for 2 seconds, and it's like, like my body goes like, and relaxes, but also the plant, and that's
Yeah,
what I also. That's so fucking cool
it's
to
so
know
it's
more and more about this.
cool. It's just so cool.
Yeah.
I even noticed, like my eldest daughter, she has a Rottweiler,
Mhm.
and since he came into her life, I've noticed that she is like we are so much more relaxed when we're around animals. And I've even noticed that watching her, and I've noticed what the dog has created in her with her body and her life. It's just incredible. We thrive with the earth and with plants and with animals, and of course with people who are a lot of space. But where we don't thrive, where we get compressed and contracted, is if someone's body has a lot of judgment and a lot of contraction. We also pick up on that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So how can we use the X-Men tools to have ease around people like that are with judgment? Because we can't avoid it always. So
No, and if we're avoiding it, we're saying that it's greater than us. We're like the X-Men tools aren't to create a separation of better than less than. That's not what this is about. Usually we make ourselves less than. We're very good at that. True.
yeah.
And so the X-Men tools are there so that you can discover what's true for you and what is your reality. Is it energy based? And so the first thing is expand out to the space of the earth, even while you're watching this live, whether it's now or in the future. Like reach down into the earth, go right down like an insect embedded in a tree trunk, and sit in there, and then go down into the earth where there's no hatred and there's no fear, there's no anger, there's no separation, there's no force. And for me, the nanosecond that I move through the nervous system of the earth, that I run the earth energy through my body, immediately my whole system goes. And so for me, the big thing is expand out 100,000 miles in all directions, and then be that space when you walk through the world, so that if someone is functioning from contraction, compression, stress, that you're not impacted by that because you're so much space. And so the beauty in this is when you allow yourself to know that you're based on energy and that your physiology does better when it's in line with the earth and the earth's functionality and the elements of consciousness. That alone allows you to acknowledge the space that you be. And the more that you acknowledge the space, then the more that space nurtures every aspect of your life. So that if you do walk into a school and a child is contracted or a teacher is compressed and stressed, because we pick up those energies, that you can actually transmute that energy and contribute instead of being the effect of it. Because too many of us have dynamically been aware of someone's compression and contraction and pick up that the minute, the nanosecond that we walk in. But what about, instead of being the effect of that, what if you're capable of transmuting anything that's not expansive? What if you have the capacity to transmute that energy to expansive? And that's the space.
I'll have that.
Yeah, 24/7, every nanosecond of every minute of every day. Yeah. And sometimes we forget, like you might forget that, you're not standalone by this is not the sum total of Rachel O'Brien. If it is, it's like feeding all the information in the universe through a straw. For me, I've got to be I've got to be aware. I've got to be aware that I'm aware of buildings. I'm aware of energies in buildings. I'm aware of energies in, churches. We're energetically aware. So what am I aware of? What am I downloading? What am I perceiving? And then if you have, billions of people on our planet, 8, what's relevant for you? You got to then make choices to stimulate what is relevant for you, what's true for you, what would you like to choose, and what works for you. And then just keep choosing that.
Beautiful.
It is. It really is. And so thanks for being here with me, and thanks for being you're so committed to getting the tools of Xmen out, because you've received the gift of the tools, Yeah. And remember, if you're out there and you are a bit stressed and you're energetic and you pick up on other people's energies, acknowledge what you're perceiving. Don't make it greater than you or significant, and then just ask, what can I be to transmute this? What can I be? And tap into the energy of the earth, and then just expand out. And you can only be stressed when you're disconnected, when you have a point of view that you're disconnected from every conscious molecule in the universe. You've got an army of molecules. When we ask for something, there's an army of molecules that are responding to our question. It's a huge, expansive universe. The question is, do you know you're part of it? Because if you're an Xmen and you've shut that down, it'll hurt. Beautiful.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And yeah.
Would you like to invite people to something that's happening this weekend?
Sure. So this weekend we have a 2-day Xmen class. The manual is so diverse, covers bipolar, mental illness. I'm someone that I was told I had bipolar. It wasn't true. I have 2 personalities. I can download a lot of personalities. I can change every 5 seconds. Now, how do I use that capacity of chameleon to my advantage? And so basically it's a big adventure. Sure, we'll be in Poland this weekend and online, and you are more than welcome if you're watching this. The manual is incredible. We just go everywhere, nervous breakdowns, PTSD. And so what I would love people to know is that your difference is not wrong. Your difference is not less. And instead of hiding away, which is what I did in my cottage in the country, that's okay.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Not wrong. Just, is it creating what you would like to have? Are you avoiding your awareness? But you can't avoid it. And so I would love you to know, if you're watching this, that you can actually have your awareness as a gift. I remember talking to my son and I was like, my awareness isn't a curse anymore. And he was like, it's beautiful. So your awareness, what if it could be a gift and not a curse? And what if it could contribute to a transmutation, which is a change and a transformation of the way we live with bodies and the way we relate to each other through behavior? What if it is a capacity for creating greater nourishment, greater caring, greater loving, just creating greater for us all and the earth? Beautiful. Thanks for being in my life.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. And thanks, Miss Frida. See you soon. We hope this contributed to you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.